In a major update ahead of Jimmy Kimmel's return to ABC this evening, Nexstar Media Group, the company that owns about 30 ABC affiliate channels, released a statement saying, quote, Nexstar Media Group today announced that the company's owned and partnered television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will continue to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. We made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following what ABC referred to as Mr. Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments at a critical time in our national discourse. We stand by that decision pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue. In the meantime, we note that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be available nationwide on multiple Disney-owned streaming products, while our stations will focus on continuing to produce local news and other programming relevant to their respective markets. This comes on the heels of a similar announcement from another media group, Sinclair. Beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. Now, this comes in the aftermath of ABC's belated decision, after a weekend of boycotts and bipartisan condemnation, to ultimately bring Kimmel's show back onto the air. But the fact that the media groups responsible for broadcasting ABC shows are still opting to perpetuate this government-fueled censorship means that their effort to interfere in our free speech rights is continuing. So, what could be done here? First of all, if ABC actually cared about free speech or the First Amendment, they would not have given a permission structure to Nexstar or Sinclair to do this in the first place. The reason that these media groups feel comfortable is because Disney gave them cover on a national stage. But second, let's not pretend that Disney isn't without leverage. If Sinclair or Nexstar don't want to air Kimmel, then Disney could refuse to allow them to air, let's say, some college football games that would make folks in Georgia or Alabama or other relevant markets quite upset. One Twitter user wrote, quote, what are ABC's next moves here? They could say if Sinclair doesn't air Kimmel, then ABC 3340 in Birmingham won't be receiving Alabama, Georgia on Saturday. KATV in Little Rock won't be receiving Notre Dame, Arkansas, etc. But that could be a dangerous game of chicken to start. Disney could also say, fine, if you don't want to air Kimmel, then we'll air everything on streaming, including the football games, and you can watch it there. If these local affiliates want to expedite the demise of linear television, then we own Disney Plus, we can help them do that. Hell, if Disney wanted to, they could offer 6 months to a year of Disney Plus for free and take the opportunity to exacerbate that switch to streaming. Now, is that something that they'd be willing to do? Well, given the fact that they literally took their own talent, Jimmy Kimmel, off the air in deference to the FCC chair's demands, expressly so that Nexstar-Tegna merger could go through, probably not. ABC relies on these local outlets, and in fact, the network is so eager to expand into more of them that they let their own talent twist in the wind. If they're willing to abandon Kimmel over these affiliate stations, then chances are they're not looking to escalate the tensions, which, if you ask me, is the perfect encapsulation of the problem with legacy media today. They operate based not on what's right, but on what's most financially advantageous for them. And look, I know I criticize legacy media a lot, but it was them who framed themselves as these champions for free speech and democracy. It was them who paraded around flashy slogans like "Democracy dies in darkness." They adopted that branding for themselves, which means it reflects poorly on them when they turn around the second that branding is challenged and capitulate to a guy waging the biggest attack on free speech in American history. That was a failure on their part to live up to their own promises. And it's why I'm such an advocate for independent media. For my part, I am not owned by some multinational conglomerate that the federal government can leverage. I am answerable only to my audience. So if you'd like to support my work, which is and always will be completely free, please subscribe to this channel. And please subscribe to the channels of other independent creators who do this not for money, but because they believe in the mission. But here's what I think the biggest takeaway from the Kimmel saga is. Disney assumed, wrongly, that the only financial downside, the only risk in this situation would be undermining Trump and Brendan Carr. They didn't think that there would be any pushback from the consumers, and they were dead wrong. Disney and ABC were raked over the coals for days for their decision to leave their own talent twisting in the wind in an effort to bow down to Trump and his heavy-handed FCC. A massive movement to boycott the company and its properties took place, including at the hands of actors who themselves star in Disney properties. Tatiana Maslany, the star of Disney's She-Hulk Attorney at Law, which aired on Disney Plus, urged people to cancel their subscriptions to Disney services. Damon Lindelof, the creator of Lost and The Leftovers, threatened to stop working with ABC. Rosie O'Donnell called for a boycott of the network. Transparent star Amy Landecker posted an image of her cancellation page from her Disney Plus account. Hundreds of members of the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild descended on Disney's headquarters in Burbank to protest the move and show solidarity with Kimmel. And the movement wasn't just limited to celebrities. According to Business Insider, the chatter online has also translated to an increase in people Googling instructions on how to cancel the network, even as many conservatives, including Trump, praised the decision to suspend Kimmel. Search volume for canceled Disney Plus reached a 12-month high, according to Google Trends, and continues to be elevated. Terms like boycott Disney Plus and boycott Disney are also listed as breakout searches. Searches for cancel Hulu also soared. Even a bipartisan coalition of politicians and commentators came out against the move. Tucker Carlson, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Andrew Schultz, the guys from the Flagrant podcast, Tim Dillon, Fox News' Kennedy, Glenn Greenwald, all criticized ABC capitulating to Trump and his FCC. And these boycotts showed that the only thing worse than denying the federal government is all of us, the customers, Americans, who, unlike Bob Iger and Disney's executives, do place value in democracy. We all came together and organized, if but for a fleeting moment, and showed that we have more power than the White House does. The takeaway, we need to recognize that power more, organize more, show solidarity more, and we can drive events. There is a reason that Donald Trump is so hell-bent on making us feel hopeless. It's because he knows that we're not. It's because he is well aware that when we work together, when we organize, when we take to the streets, that he looks small by comparison. This should be the impetus we need to recognize that that posture is one that we need to replicate weekly if necessary. If corporate entities like Disney aren't going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, then we have to communicate with them in the only way that they can understand, via our wallets. Because if the past week has shown us anything, it's that that's what works. Now, as far as Nexstar and Sinclair are concerned, if you turn on the TV tonight and Kimmel isn't airing, think about that the next time you want to tune into their coverage for anything else. My friend Glenn Kirshner had another suggestion. Pay attention to the advertisers. If Kimmel is on, reward those advertisers. If he's not, let those advertisers know the kind of coverage, or censorship for that matter, that they're sponsoring. If the takeaway from this episode is that money speaks louder than words, think about that when you want to wield yours, because you have a hell of a lot more power than you think. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.